What's up, guys? I'm Chris, and today you're watching a magic review on Incendio by TCC. What is Incendio? Well, it's a fire shooter. Shoots fireballs. Um, there's more to it than that, obviously, but you can use this for all sorts of things, whether it is enhancing your magic or just shooting fireballs. Now, if you're going to do that, I would hide the gimmick, but you can have this in plain sight, and you have full control over when this goes off. So really, any type of effect that uses a flash, right? Or if you want to enhance it by adding fire or flash paper type things, then this is perfect. Now, this is under your full control, right? So it's remote controlled. The gimmick looks exactly like a twin tip Sharpie. That is exactly what it is, right? So this is your fine writing and your ultra fine, super fine, ultra fine, and your fine tip. So the way that I use this is I swap out. If I have an actual twin tip marker that I can swap in and out. So what's the quality on this? It's great as far as I know. Like, I've been using it now for a few days, and I've used it a lot because some other things that I had heard about similar products were that there is another Sharpie type one on the market. I think there's more than one. Some people were concerned that if this got too hot or you use it too much, would it start to melt the marker? So I have used it a lot to see what would happen, and it's just like I got it. The quality is really good, very easy to use. It's rechargeable, and then charging it is also very easy. Remote works great. It's easy to load, it's easy to reset, it's quick. You can't do it out in the open in front of people, but it's easy to do. So what do you get? You are going to get, where is it? So the box looks like this. Inside you will get a charger, you will get the remote, and you will get the gimmick itself. You'll also get the video tutorial on the inside of the box. What you will not get, that you will need, is flash cotton. And the reason for that is it can't be shipped overseas. I can't even buy flash cotton from the States because it's another country, even though we're on the same continent. It can't be shipped over the border. So you will have to get your own flash cotton. Now, you can use flash paper, but you still need flash cotton. So when you're loading this, it has to be loaded with that flash cotton first. What I showed in the beginning, the intro to this review, was just flash cotton. What flash paper will do is basically give you a bigger fireball. It will make it go further, right? But you don't just want to use flash paper because the paper is harder and it can damage the coil. So you have to start out with flash cotton. You can also add another thing. I haven't actually seen it before until it was in the tutorial, and it's like flash sparkles. But in the tutorial, they combine, the cotton with paper and sparkles, and you basically get this like enormous fireball that sparkles and goes quite a distance. For me, just the flash cotton's perfect, right? So the more you put in, the bigger it's going to be, the louder it's going to be, the less, obviously the less it's going to be, but that's what it is. It's very easy to use. Quality is great. The tutorial basically just explains what you get, how to not assemble everything because it's assembled when you get it, but how to charge it, how to load it, how to use it, different combinations of flash materials and what each flash material will do. So they demo each thing in the tutorial, and then you'll just get some ideas on how to use it, how to incorporate it into your magic and routines and things like that. But ultimately, anywhere you want to add a flash or flame, this will work, right? Angles. There aren't really angle restrictions. I don't think you want anyone staring at the one side of the gimmick for too long, right? They're going to see that it's not exactly normal. But like I said, you can swap this out with a normal one because the normal one is identical to this one. With that said, if they don't know what's coming, they're not going to be looking for anything, right? So I don't think that angles really apply here. You're not saying, hey, look at this, it's going to shoot fire. I wouldn't say there's any angle issues or restrictions. Setup and reset, I kind of already went over that. The reset, so there's ways of making it quicker. I'm not going to do it in front of you exactly, but I have taken a bunch of flash cotton and I've just made it into little balls. And actually, this is like big. This will give you a big reaction, like flame. So, and some of these are even bigger. Like I got to rip a lot of these in half. But what I did was I just ripped up little balls and then, and you just toss one of those in there, carry an extra like Sharpie clip to just tap it in, and it's really, really quick. Really, really quick. So there are no arts and crafts. It's ready to use out of the box. You just have to charge it. So I guess maybe not right out of the box. You have to charge the gimmick and then throw in your flash material. Can it be inspected? Can it be examined? I think initially, yes, before anything happens, because it is just like a regular marker, right? And it can even be used, right? So it writes. You could have your participant sign something with this, sign a card. Boom, fire, card comes to the top. I don't know, use it however you want, but what I'm getting at is they can use this and they won't think anything is strange until, well, not until, but before anything happens, they're not going to think anything weird. After it happens, I don't want them examining it. That's when I would switch it out with the regular Sharpie. But there's discrete ways of doing this too. You don't have to make it obvious of where it's coming from, right? And you'll see in the trailer that it can be set off to the side, where it's not going to be noticed, right? Because it is controlled by a remote. Is it a worker, and who would use this? So it's good in a working situation in the sense that it's going to give a great reaction, right? Anything with fire, it's always going to bring that not so good in a working situation if you are doing strolling or walk around, because you will need to kind of step away to reset, so it depends what your working environment and situation is, right? Who would use this? Really, any magician. I'm sure that there's ideas that can be applied to mentalism, but anybody who wants to add a flash into their magic, this is for you. So what's the price, and is it worth your money? So right now, this is a Kickstarter release. So if you back the Kickstarter, you're going to get this for $69.90. If you don't and you wait until it retails, it's going to jump up to $100. So if this is something that you're interested in or something that you think you can use, you're going to get a better price right now backing it in the Kickstarter. So pros and cons, positives, negatives. So negatives. The only negative that I've come across so far, and like I said, I've used this a lot in the last few days to where I wanted to get comfortable with it, reviewing it. However, I don't know what's going to happen long term, right? I mean, as far as it goes right now, it's shown no signs of becoming damaged because of the heat or anything like that. But I don't know long term. I can't say what's going to happen long term. I hope that they've covered all their bases with that to make sure that this lasts, right? But I can't really talk much more on that. So the only actual negative that I have, and I don't really know if it's anything that you can get around without making it obvious visually on this. So anyway, the only negative that I found is that you don't know when the marker is on and off. So there is a on-off switch, and to activate it, there's a very, very tiny hole in the gimmick that turns on with like something small like a pin, right? So you can feel the button, going in and out. You press it once, it's on. You press it again, it's off. But there is no visual indication of whether it's on or off. I've used it enough now to where I trust that after I'm done using it, and it's obviously been on, that when I press that button, it is off. Because what I did a few times in the beginning was I'd have been using it, and then I would load it again, turn it off, press the remote, and if it didn't go off, I knew it was off, right? I didn't want to have to do that every time, but I did for the first few times to make sure that everything was functioning properly and that this thing wasn't just going to go off, right? So now, after doing that a few times with it loaded and pressing the button and it not going off and knowing it's off, now I've come to trust it, So anyway, but like I said, I don't know if there really can be a visual indicator without it being obvious on here, right? Like if you had a blue light for when it's on, well, there's going to be a blue light on your marker, and that's going to be noticeable to your participants or spectators. So that's kind of, I'm torn there, but I just feel like I should mention it somehow. The pros: easy to use, easy to set up, easy to load. It's very quick, very straightforward. It happens, you're in full control. And the remote here too. I put tape around it because what I've done is I put a safety clip between the button so that when I'm storing this, it's not going to go off in my bag. Just an extra precaution, right? Because there is no on-off switch on the remote. This is battery powered. It can't be charged. So when it doesn't work, you just put a new battery in. With that said, I didn't want to take the chance of maybe I forgot to shut this off and I put it in my bag and this is in my bag and I accidentally hit the button and right. But again, don't leave it loaded if you're not going to use it too. It's kind of like a gun. What I was getting at is the remote, right? It can be used in your other hand. It can be used if you're seated with your foot, or because of this little safety pin, you can clip it to, say, inside of your jacket, right? So that when you bring your arm down, that engages the button. There's lots of different ways that you can set this up if you want to be more discreet, if you want to be both hands free. So yeah, there's a lot of positives to this. And I like too that you have not just control over when it happens, but that you have control over how big or small the flame or the flash is, how far it goes, right? Maybe you just want a little, then you don't put much in, right? But this thing, if you see the tutorial, the little demo in there, he has to do it outside because it is too big and flies too far for them to demo it inside. So yeah, like it can be pretty crazy. So obviously disclaimer, right? This can be dangerous. In the demo outside, it showed hitting a wall and just boom, like sparks and everywhere, right? So you do have to be cautious when using this, right? Don't overload it, especially if you're indoors, right? I wouldn't even probably use the flash paper combination if you're indoors, unless you're in like a really big setting like a stage show. But I'm just going to stick with the flash cotton. I really like this. I think the price is good for the Kickstarter, right? And again, I can't really give any long term. I wanted to get this review out. I wanted to use it for a while so that I felt like I could give the review properly, but I didn't want to wait too long. And then the Kickstarter's over, and now the price has jumped up. So, anyway, I've tried to handle this as much as I could to give the best review I can. So really, it's been a few days, used quite a bit, but that's all I can really say about it. So anyway, I will leave a link in the description so that you can check this out on Kickstarter. The campaign, it just started like a few days ago, so it's still going on. So with that, I think that's all I have on this. Any questions or comments, just leave that in the comments. I will do my best to answer, or I will reach out to somebody who can. So thanks for watching, and with that, we'll see you at the next review.